Hey everyone, and welcome to the Frigidaire Gallery Kitchen. My name is Joey McAteer, and I'm the Electrolux and Frigidaire Consumer and Product Education Manager.
I'm Chef Alyssa. For nearly a decade, I've been teaching people how to cook on the Frigidaire family of appliances. Everything from Mediterranean to Thai. In addition to that, in my commercial kitchen, I cook delicious home-style meals for busy moms on the go. I cook on top-of-the-line commercial equipment, and all that being said, I'm super excited to cook on this oven.
Right, and hopefully everybody watching is just as excited because today in the Frigidaire Gallery Kitchen, we're going to be cooking on our brand new Frigidaire Gallery single and double wall ovens with total convection. We're talking over 15 different cooking modes, including things like air fry, steam bake, and slow cook, and a brand new no preheat feature. No preheat allows consumers to get food to their families faster by skipping the preheat altogether and putting their food into a cold oven. In addition to all of these 15 plus cooking modes, consumers get a beautiful new redesigned wall oven, including smudge-proof stainless steel on the exterior so they don't have to worry about fingerprints from the little ones, and a full-color digital touchscreen control. They'll be able to scroll through all their cooking options, plus get tips and tricks to help hold their hand in case it's a new cooking mode that they're not experienced with. That being said, which cooking mode are we going to be starting here with today?
We're going to be doing a slow-cooked braised beef. And what I love is that your oven at home, it can do this. But this oven, it can go here, and it can also do this. So it takes those slow cooked methods, and it also gets that high air fry. But what I love about putting this instead of a crock pot, you can free up your space, gives you plenty of room to just put your crock pot or put your pot right into the oven and get that cooking.
Right, we know for Frigidaire families, space is sometimes a struggle, so clearing up some countertop space is welcome for all of them. Just want to confirm, we have a gliding rack inside of this wall oven in the middle. Is that good placement for what we're going to be cooking on today?
That's good because I can check this pot. This is just a standard Dutch oven, which I'm going to cook this braise in, but I know that I could fit a large stock pot if I wanted to do like a chili or something that's going to be a larger portion.
Right, because with these new wall ovens, notice that you'll get to maximize all 5.1 cubic feet of space. You'll have the ability to put the racks all the way down at the bottom so you can fit those larger pots and pans. Plus a new included temperature probe as well. So even though we're going to be cooking nice and low and slow, if we wanted to make sure we got that perfect internal temperature, we could pop that included temperature probe right into the dish itself, right?
Exactly. Many recipes you would only go until certain temperatures. This is perfect.
Love it, and so easy to use. So that being said, let's go ahead and preheat this oven and get to cooking. 175, is that good for our recipe?
That's perfect.
All right, so walk us through what we're going to be doing here today.
Okay, so this is a great slow-cooked meat. You can put it in your oven 8 to 10 hours, so set it up in the morning or get it going overnight. I'm gonna mince up a few of my vegetables and then I'll bring all the spices together with the meat. So I'm gonna mince up my garlic, about 3 cloves is good. So onion and garlic are kind of our fresh flavors for this dish, but everything else is spices, some things that you probably already have in your pantry.
Love it. That always makes mealtime easier.
These ingredients don't need to be super tiny because it's all gonna braise, it's all gonna be nice and tender and just melt right in. But I like to mince it up so it'll spread evenly throughout. Set that over to the side and just get about a half an onion. So once it's peeled down, we'll just dice it small, but even if you were to dice it large, it is not a problem because it's all gonna melt in. Okay, so we've got about a half of an onion, a couple cloves of garlic. So now that we've got our garlic and our onions prepped, I'm just gonna go ahead and grab the meat that I've already got diced up. So we've got some large cubed sirloin tip roast. You can use a chuck steak, whatever you'd like for a slow braise. And I'm gonna add my spices. I've got a couple tablespoons of ancho powder, some smoked paprika, just gives it a nice rich flavor. Some red pepper flakes. This really isn't enough to make it spicy, but if you wanna kick it up, you can go for it. And then some oregano. So just some dry oregano. Of course, need to add in some seasoning, some salt.
The good stuff.
Yeah, just need to add some salt, a little bit of black pepper. And then we'll just kind of give this a mix. Lots of different flavor directions that you can go with this, but I just like the smokiness of the chili.
And it's really gonna fill the house with a lot of wonderful aromas.
Exactly. This is gonna be really delicious and everything will just melt down. You can pull it. It's great on a rice bowl or a taco. And then we've got a few other things to just mix up here. So I've got some beef stock. This is just, I make a nice rich beef stock, but there's a lot of store-bought ones that you can buy as well. So for our base liquid ingredient, we've got the stock. I'm gonna add some tomato paste, a couple tablespoons of tomato paste. Just kind of whisk that in. And then we're gonna add in some cocoa powder. So the cocoa powder gives it this nice bitter flavor. It's not sweet. This is just an unsweet cocoa powder. It also helps build some body in the sauce. So as it's braising, you have a nice rich broth. So I'm just gonna build everything in my stock pot. Mix in our onions and our garlic. Even though we're cooking this on a low, slow, all-day cook, I know you could raise the temp up to about 300 degrees and cook it for 3 to 4 hours, which is great to have that temperature range.
Right, and these wall ovens can go as low as 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Most wall ovens can only go to about 170 degrees for a keep warm setting. So the fact that you can hold that nice low, slow temperature for upwards of 48 hours, or as short as maybe an hour or two if you were really in a pinch.
Yeah, so liquid poured in our pan. Rule of thumb, you really only need to go halfway on your proteins. So since a lot of liquid is going to come out of meat and vegetables as it's braising, just a little bit to really help circulate the steam as it's cooking and break down the proteins. So put this pot right on. I love how easy that is to prep.
Right, exactly. I'll pop this in here. I'm sure it's going to be absolutely delicious. What do we have coming up next?
So we're going to round out the meal with a really nice lemon and cranberry dinner bread and a couple of vegetables that are going to be nice and crispy, some potatoes and some carrots.
Sounds delicious. Can't wait.
So our next recipe is a cranberry lemon dinner bread. It's great with savory food. It's absolutely delicious on its own. And when it comes right out of the oven, you want to put butter on it right away and enjoy it. It's really simple, basic ingredients and easy to come together. If you were to look at these two breads side by side, using this in the steam bake oven, it just makes this crust absolutely delicious, nice golden brown. And you can see from baking them side by side, it just gets to be beautifully golden brown, crisp. It expands so much more, so it's nice and fluffy in the center.
I can see the results. I can't wait to taste the results and the fact that we're talking about bread, which I feel like for a lot of people is probably a little bit intimidating.
Yep.
And the fact that it's easy, not only an easy recipe, but also easy to do in these Frigidaire Gallery wall ovens. Speaking of which, I need to get ready for this recipe. So we're gonna use the steam bake feature. What should I be preheating the oven to for
You wanna go to 400 degrees.
I'm gonna go ahead and turn it on, head to oven modes, and select the steam bake function. So we've got steam bake, steam roast. It's gonna tell you right away on the oven tips and tricks that you're gonna need to pour anywhere from 2 to 4 cups of water inside of the cavity. So we're gonna go ahead and open up this unit. We've got 3 cups of water here. You don't have to remove the rack in order to pour this water in. You can just pour it right over the rack if you wanted to. I'm gonna pour those 3 cups right in there. And then we are going to set the preheat here for 400 degrees. Click the start button. And then what's gonna happen is this oven is going to start to convert that water into steam using the hidden bake element underneath, that little reservoir of water. It's gonna be converted into steam, circulate all around thanks to that powerful convection fan, collect on those doughs and pastries and give you some delicious baked results.
So this is actually perfect timing because putting this all together, it's no knead, it's really just mixing. So in perfect time, as that temperature comes up, we're gonna be ready to put it right into the oven. And as I'm bringing this together, I also wanna take note on how quiet the oven is. Like as a mom having a busy kitchen all the time, like any quiet that I can get is great. And just having like, you know, kids doing homework, like whatever is going on in your house, you don't have to hear the oven.
Right.
It's like a little less noise.
The kitchen is the hub of the home. And we know that for many consumers, especially if they're switching to convection for the first time, it can kind of catch them off guard with the noise. So that new convection piece, a new element and fan, really a much quieter operation.
Yeah, also being that it's going to 400 degrees, which is pretty high. So we are starting this bread with some all-purpose flour, and we're gonna add to it a smaller portion of whole wheat flour.
Okay.
So I'm gonna put those in. We've got a little sugar to just enhance the flavor of the lemon and the cranberry that's gonna be in here.
I'm so excited about those flavors, lemon and cranberry.
It is, and you could change it up, but great to have a little dry fruit. The lemon cranberry, it's perfect. Kids will love it. Everybody will enjoy it along with going with the braised beef that we're making. We've got some salt and then some baking soda. So this recipe is based off of like an Irish soda bread, something really simple. And then we're gonna add in, I'll give this just a little whisk to bring that together.
Great. Okay. So you mentioned that this needs no proofing whatsoever. What's also great about these wall ovens is they do have a bread proof mode. So if you are doing a more complicated bread recipe, you could bread proof in one and then drop it into the other cavity for the steam bake.
Absolutely. And I think most of the time you would think of achieving this nice, beautiful crust using the steam bake. You kind of need to be an artisan bread maker, but you don't. You can do a simple recipe and it still comes out so much better. And like even a cornbread or a muffin, all those things will just be nice and light and fluffy and efficiently baked. So right into the mix of dry ingredients, I'm going to add some lemon zest. I'm going to use as much of this as possible. And you always want to go directly into your ingredients because you're releasing a lot of beautiful oils and flavors and things that you want to catch in. And it just makes the flavor of the lemon a lot more pronounced. So you just go all the way around the lemon, get all of that off. And then we're just going to give that a tap to release any excess.
And what I love about this recipe, even without it being done yet, I feel like it's just gonna be really impressive to friends and family. They're gonna be like, you had to have bought this at a bakery.
Yeah, especially just the nice crust that you'll see. It comes out really well. So we're gonna drop in some cranberries and just kind of toss that in. And then you want some buttermilk. You could also use a mix of milk with about a teaspoon of vinegar in there. But that's what's gonna do the leavening. So I'm gonna just kind of create a little bit of a well so I can pour all of the buttermilk in at once. Then just kind of start to bring it all together.
And again, no bread maker needed, nothing on the countertop here, taking up space.
Yes, get it out of the way.
Don't even need a stand mixer here for this. This is awesome. And I wish you guys could smell it. It already smells amazing. I can smell that lemon zest.
It is, it's perfect.
It's a really tough job that I have.
So we're gonna switch this to a bowl scraper or just a nice wide spatula, whatever you have, so we can get everything completely mixed in. Kind of just scrape around the sides and pull it in.
And while you're doing that, what I also like about the steam bake feature on these wall ovens is that it reminds me a lot of like older recipes. So like grandmother's recipe where, you know, you tray of water in there.
I think we all remember grandma putting a little bit of water in the oven, but that's also the key to knowing that like you're doing things the right way. We're just doing them so much more efficiently because we have an oven that is built to do it.
Truly. And what's also exciting is not only do you get the steam bake feature, these wall ovens also feature steam roast. So if you wanted to do a larger cut of meat or protein, you could steam roast it using the same exact steps we took here, just pouring a little bit of water in there.
Exactly. I've done lamb racks in there with the steam roast. They come out beautiful, especially with some herbs, because the steam really pulls the flavor out, which is the great thing about the circulating heat is that you're not just getting flavor, you're getting flavor inside of your food with all that circulating heat.
Really like locking it in there, but creating a nice crust.
Yes. So now we just kind of place this on a baking sheet that's lined with some parchment paper.
You made that look so easy. I definitely came in today saying, I can't make bread. I'm walking away saying, okay, I could do this.
I love that. That's exactly right. And you can shape it a little bit more, but it is like a nice, large, fluffy biscuit in a sense. So just kind of shape it into a little bit of a bowl. Get your hands in there if you're feeling comfortable. So I'm just taking some of the extra buttermilk that I have in the residue in the pitcher, and I'm just putting a little bit on the outside, helps with the even color before it goes right into the oven.
Just like an egg wash, sort of?
Yeah, really similar to an egg wash, just so I have it. It's not totally necessary step, but you can do it and it'll just, you know, just help with a little bit of the sheen. But otherwise, it's like ready to go in the oven.
Perfect.
So,
well, it looks delicious. I'll take it from you here. Great. And just on time, there is our preheat going off. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop this food into the oven. See all that gorgeous steam being created by this total convection system. Go ahead and place that in there. Close it up, and we're gonna let this bake for about...
It's gonna go for 15 minutes on 400 steam bake, and then you just lower it on down to 350.
Sounds good, can't wait. So last but not least, what is our last dish to add to our dinner menu?
We've got 2 air fry dishes that are gonna accompany the braised beef. We've got some crispy carrots, and we've also got some roasted garlic fingerling potatoes.
Cannot wait. All right, we'll see you in just a minute. All right, so last but not least, we're talking air fry. Very excited about this. I love air fry. You love air fry. We know all of you watching are probably big air fry fans as well. And that is why we're so excited here at Frigidaire about air fry, because we were the first in 2018 to integrate it into our wall ovens and ranges. And since then, the market has just exploded and it's becoming less of a nice to have and more of a need to have. And for many of us, that's a countertop air fryer, and that's taking up space. That's leading to inconsistent results. And most importantly for Frigidaire families, it is not enough to feed the entire family in one batch.
Yeah, I would say it's the #1 thing that I get asked about when I'm teaching classes is, can I do this in my air fryer? How easy would it be to put it in there? And I think a countertop air fryer it gets you good, nice and crispy, but when you put your ingredients in the oven and you have that nice circulating fan, you have all that space, it's getting more flavor into your food. So we're gonna get crispy, delicious results from the potatoes and the carrots that we're about to make.
Right, and this is awesome because I think for a lot of us, when we think air fry, we're thinking chicken wings, we're thinking French fries, and we're getting a much healthier spin on air fry for those families.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm all about speed when I'm at home. So I want things to cook quick, and so these are great recipes for that.
Love it.
We have some baby carrots. So right now we're in the springtime, so these are nice and fresh. You don't need to do anything to prep these. Also, the smaller the carrots, the more fresh they are, the less bitter the skin is gonna taste, and that's why we would peel it. So there's no need to peel it. I don't even go as far as trimming them at all. They've been trimmed of their greens, which is an important step. You can incorporate those greens into salads and herbs that you kind of sprinkle on top of your finished dishes, like a chimichurri. But I don't worry about the stems. They don't bother me once they're roasted, so there's not much prep involved.
No waste at all. We just use the whole carrot as is.
Yep.
Love it.
Then we're gonna mix our spices up. So you can go a little crazy with your spices. These are just sort of like a really wonderful aromatic blend. We've got some smoked paprika, some coriander, cumin, and then a bit of cinnamon. The cinnamon works really well with the carrots because they're inherently nice and sweet. So mix this up and then we'll use however much you'd like.
And so these are going to be our spices. The great thing about Frigidaire's air fry is you need little to no oil. So if we wanted to, air fry with no oil, we don't have to. We're going to do a little bit here. Yeah,
the little bit of oil will help the spices to stay on. But you also have the opportunity to use healthier oils. So if you are going the route of using oil, this is avocado oil. You're not frying in something that is a lot of a less nutritious oil. So we've got a little bit of the avocado oil, enough spices that we'll kind of toss this all on to coat, and then season with some salt. Just kind of give this a nice toss.
You make that look so effortless. So.
You wanna?
No, I'm good. I'm good observing and eating later.
So once these are all coated in our spices, they'll just go right onto our sheet tray.
Okay, so we're gonna put these on a sheet tray. One thing to point out that's really exciting about Frigidaire's air fry is it works great with any standard nonstick baking sheet. So you can use a nice large baking sheet inside the wall oven, maximize that space, and feed the entire family all at once. You could do a couple small batches of different vegetables like we're doing here, or you can purchase that additional air fry tray available for the Frigidaire Gallery wall ovens. Looks just like a fry basket, but in baking sheet format, and it gives you just even faster results than our air fry already delivers.
Yes, and there is an important step on using the air fry tray, which is if you have that open tray, put another tray right underneath of it. Make sure if any dripping.
A drip tray.
But this is all set up, ready to go.
So easy.
Yep.
All right, so we got the carrots. What's next?
So our potatoes. We're using fingerling potatoes, but you could use a small baby potato, really whatever you want. You can cut wedges out of a large potato, but this is gonna be seasoned with roasted garlic and fresh herbs that are all gonna cook together, and this is where you just get lots of crispy, delicious flavor. And you'll see the roasted garlic, how delicious and little crispy bits you get from that.
So an elevated French fry.
Yes. So we've got our fingerling potatoes, and what I'm gonna do here is just slice these in half, open them up. That way you have the flat side will give you more of the more crisp. So the more surface area you have, the better crispy that's gonna get. So the thing about potatoes is as soon as they're cut open, they start to release a lot of starch. If you can capture it in the water and kind of help drain out some of that starch, your potatoes will come out crispier. So I've got some that have already been soaking, so you can see this next step for getting them prepped to go into the oven.
Fantastic. So these have already been soaking.
Yep, overnight.
Awesome.
But whatever amount of time you have is great. And like I said, if you don't have overnight, even 30 minutes in warm water is gonna help them get crispier. So we're gonna take these out. I just have a kitchen towel laid out so we can drain off the excess moisture. So once our potatoes are nice and dry, I'm just gonna go ahead and transfer these to a bowl. And I'm gonna pluck off some herbs.
Okay.
So.
Which herbs are we working with?
We've got some rosemary and some thyme. I like using these two herbs because they're not as delicate as, let's say, basil or even sage. They'll hold up to the higher temperature of cooking them on the air fry.
While you're doing that, also would love to mention that with air fry, if you have leftover herbs, you could easily air fry them, dry them out, or dehydrate them using the dehydrate mode.
Yeah.
And be able to use everything, even the excess that you're not using for the recipe itself.
I can't tell you how many restaurants I worked at that our garnish for a dish was a beautifully fried herb leaf, and it just like adds color and adds flavor as the heat of your food is warming it back up. So you're re-infusing flavor.
Love it.
Okay. We'll just bundle these up and give them a mince. Okay, kind of coarse with those herbs there. So now what I have here is our roasted garlic. And they're just whole cloves of garlic that have been roasted till they're tender in olive oil. You can find this in some grocery stores I've seen as well. We're gonna lift out some of the oil along with the garlic cloves.
A healthy dose of cloves.
Yeah. And some of that good extra virgin olive oil with the garlic. Now we'll pick up all of our fresh herbs. Sprinkle in
A little
salt and pepper. And now I'm just gonna get in there with some kitchen gloves because it's so much better to mash up the garlic by hand.
This sounds like something you could have the kids do at this part.
Oh, totally
Maybe,
fun.
if you trust them enough.
Yeah. Just toss it all together. That's perfect.
So we're tossing those. Also, we'll point out that we have yet to preheat the oven.
Yes.
That's a really important step because with Frigidaire's air fry, it's a patented algorithm. And what it does here is it preheats the oven in under 5 minutes. So we're talking about 4.5 minutes, the oven preheats. And it's really important that when you're using the air fry mode, you get that food in right when the preheat button goes off, that alarm sounds, because we're gonna overshoot the temperature for the first couple minutes intentionally to really kind of flash fry these things. We're gonna get them nice and hot inside, but really start to cook the inside and get it nice and juicy and tender.
Yep, an optimal crispiness and really, really also so that it's not cooking for too long as well.
And again, I wish you guys were here. The smell coming from these potatoes is fantastic. I can only imagine it's gonna get better as we put them into the oven. So these are now plated, ready to preheat.
They are ready to go. If you want to preheat it, and then once they're ready, the carrots are going to cook for about 10 minutes, and the potatoes are going to cook for about 15.
Okay, so you were not joking when you said fast.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead over here and get to that. So what we're going to do here is we're going to turn on the oven, head to the oven modes, and select the air fry option. Here, we're going to click the next button, and you said we're going to do it at what temperature?
We're going to go on 425.
Just like the wall oven recommended.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and select start, and we're on our way to some delicious air fried vegetables. All right, so we just heard the preheat timer go off for air fry, so it's time for these to go in. All right, so I'll take these from you, and we're gonna go ahead here and open up the wall oven, place our air fried vegetables in. And in 10 minutes, we're gonna be enjoying some delicious air fried vegetables.
Perfect.
All right, so our air fried vegetables are just about done. So we're gonna pull them out of the oven and get to plating this delicious Frigidaire meal. So let's go ahead and open this up, and you can hear that sizzle from the air fry. Look at these delicious potatoes. We'll go ahead and pull those out. And these air fried carrots as well. The smells coming from here are just so, so wonderful. So this entire meal here is a feast for any Frigidaire family. And the best part is all of it was done in those new Frigidaire Gallery Total Convection wall ovens. Over 15 different cooking modes, just 3 of the modes here. So quite a versatile appliance. You've got air fry, you've got steam bake, you've got slow cook. So I think it's time to plate this.
Yes.
I can smell it. I want to taste it. I'm so sorry for you guys, but again, let's go ahead and get this plated.
Well, you can see how easy it will be to remake, but cooking with all of these modes really makes it so that your complete meal has so much texture and so much flavor. And while this is the dish that took all day, but easy to make, while this took all day, you've got the rest of your meal that just takes under an hour. So we'll kind of dig into this. You can see how much sauce we've developed with that real slow cook braise.
And that slow cook can be done, while mom and dad are at work. You come home to those wonderful aromas, get the rest of the meal finished, and everybody's sitting down to enjoy a family meal together.
Exactly. So you've got the braise. We're gonna cut up some of our cranberry lemon bread.
So again, this was the steam-baked bread. Notice that golden crust, that beautiful sound as you're cutting into it. And then the inside looks so nice and light and fluffy.
It is. It's so tender. It's going to be perfect to pair with the braise and really just like soak up all of those juices while it's got some sweetness to it.
I was just going to say, a couple slices to sop up all of that delicious juice from the slow cooker.
And then we're going to add our vegetables. And so this is where you're really getting so much more flavor and so much more texture, because instead of just putting your vegetables in with the braise, they're nicely crispy air fried.
So we've got the carrots, we've got the potatoes.
Yep.
And even just to add a little bit more heightened flavor, we can use the lemon that we zested earlier, reducing our food waste to kind of season the whole dish.
The extra lemon right on top of the carrots would just be a perfect little complement. Add a little bit of acidity to bring balance into your whole plate. And it is deliciously ready to go, like home-cooked meal.
Cannot wait to dig into this. Again, sorry for all of you, but you can, as Chef Alyssa just said, easily recreate this meal at home with these new Frigidaire Gallery Total Convection Wall Ovens. Thank you guys for joining us. Chef, thank you for preparing this delicious meal.
Thank you, Joey.
We hope you all enjoyed, and we'll see you again soon.
Create all your family favorites with Frigidaire's most advanced convection system, Total Convection. With Total Convection, you get over 15 easy-to-use cooking modes, so you can whip up quick and yummy breakfast favorites or crispy and tender wings on game day. What makes our Total Convection system so great? It all starts with our versatile dual-speed motor and powerful 3,800-watt heating element that allows you to cook as high as 450 degrees or as low as 100 degrees. Plus, our newly redesigned 11-blade convection fan with convection cover reduces fan noise and optimizes airflow for better heat distribution. The Total Convection system helps you achieve it all. No preheat, air fry, slow cook, steam bake, steam roast, air sous vide, dehydrate, convection bake, and more. Total Convection, your complete cooking system.